Hey everybody, this is Brad from Tax Defense Ohio. How you doing? Hey, I just wanted to give you a little update on the IRS backlog. Today is January 14th of 2022. We're just getting ready for the 2021 tax filing season. The bad news is the IRS is nowhere near caught up for 2020's tax processing season. There was something around 35 million unfiled returns that we're still waiting for the IRS to process. The IRS taxpayer advocate, that's the person that's inside the IRS that's supposed to take the side of taxpayers, said she's deeply concerned that they can't catch up. In her words, she said paper is the IRS's kryptonite and they're buried in it. So here at Tax Defense Ohio, we've had hundreds of calls from our clients and from folks that aren't our clients who filed tax returns and haven't had anything processed yet, who've paid their taxes and are still getting invoiced, still getting bills. And they're saying, hey, we're calling every day. We've been on hold 2 hours. We can't get through, can't get my problem resolved. They cashed my check last June. I'm still getting notices. That's across the board. There's many millions of taxpayers in the same boat. And the problem is if you just call on the phone and you manage to get through, you probably cannot get them to find that piece of paperwork in Kansas City or New York somewhere and make sure that gets processed. The problem is they've been 9 months behind from the beginning of COVID when the big offices in California, New York, and other states were closed to COVID. So the tax returns piled up. No one was there to process them. By state order, they shut a lot of those offices. And then by federal law, IRS employees are not allowed to take tax returns home to work on them. So you had a two-part problem where federal law says, hey, you guys can't take those tax returns home and those checks home and work on them. But state law says you can't go to work. So just by the effect of those two laws interacting with the COVID crisis, we've had a situation where many millions of taxpayers' stuff hasn't been processed. Letters, returns, everything. The bad news is, hey, if you get a levy or a lien, you've already paid your taxes, they haven't processed it, or maybe you don't even owe it. They don't know that. They don't know that. Almost all those things are computer generated. So if you get an IRS notice and it says CP in front of it, CP 2000, CP 514, CP 501, all those CP means it's a computer generated letter. No human being looked at that, but they're still sending you an invoice. They're still sending you even a lien notice, and no human beings processed your stuff or looked at it. If you have a levy notice that you get from the IRS, hey, pay this now or I'm going to take the money out of your bank, let us know. We can get you what's called a collection due process appeals hearing, where it stops the clock on that until you get to talk to a live IRS appeals officer. And we'll do it for you so you don't have to get on the phone with them and go through that process. It's kind of complicated for someone not practicing tax law every day. But what we can do is, hey, stop the clock, computer, IRS computer. You guys haven't processed this for a year. Let us get face to face with an IRS officer or via Zoom or via the phone and say, hey, look, Joe Q. Smith has filed his tax return. He's actually owed $3,000. Quit billing him for the $6,000. And then you can get it resolved talking to a real person. The problem is with this backlog, even if you manage to get through and wait 2 hours on hold, the paperwork probably hadn't been processed yet. So unfortunately, the way the IRS is working now, the backlog from last year is necessarily going to trickle into this year. It has to. So if you have a complicated return or a bunch of papers that need to be processed, letters, follow-up, it's just going to be bad for you. Just going to be bad. This is Brad with Tax Defense Ohio. Just wanted to give everybody a heads up on what's cooking with the IRS. Thanks.